Welcome to the 2021 Virginia Governor's Volunteerism and Community Service Awards. I'm Duke Storen, Commissioner of the Virginia Department of Social Services, and it is my pleasure and honor to welcome these outstanding volunteers and volunteer organizations who have made such a tremendous impact on the lives of thousands and thousands of Virginians. You know, in my role as Commissioner, I witnessed firsthand so many overwhelming needs and challenges throughout the Commonwealth. We continue each day to face childhood hunger, the opioid crisis, housing eviction crisis, and economic security challenges in every community. And I know that we all share a common belief that drives our commitment to service, and that's that each person, every Virginian, deserves to live a life of dignity. You know, as an individual, I've been inspired by many great leaders to be a man of service. One of them, and perhaps the biggest inspiration for me, is Martin Luther King. And I'd like to share a quote that I've held close all my life that's really inspired me and sort of kept me motivated to both serve in my local community as well as to be a public servant. And it goes like this: in a real sense, all life is interrelated. All people are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. And I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. With the increase in new challenges presented by the pandemic, individuals and groups across the Commonwealth have responded in force. There were so many nominations received for these prestigious awards, several which exemplify the spirit of stepping up, filling the gaps, and being creative to meet new challenges that we've never seen before as a Commonwealth. So I'd like to offer my sincerest thanks for the caring and dedication each one of you has shown this past year. Your contributions and your commitment to improving the lives of Virginians are invaluable. Thank you so much. And now it's my honor to introduce the 73rd Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Governor Ralph Northam. I think it's so appropriate to have the governor here with us today to provide comments because he is a man of service. From the start of his career in the Army to becoming a pediatric neurologist to his time as a public servant in state government, he has served with humility, with great energy, and with joy. It has been an honor to serve under you, Governor, and it's an honor to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Commissioner Storen. It is so exciting to be able to recognize and celebrate the winners of the 2021 Governor's Volunteerism and Community Service Awards. There were more than 130 nominations this year, the most nominations we have ever received. I want to thank the members of the Advisory Board and the Service Foundation Board for serving as the judges this year. What a tough job to select only 10 winners from all those wonderful submissions. These award winners represent a snapshot of the thousands of citizens in the Commonwealth who give of their time and talent to improve their communities. In fact, according to the latest report on volunteering in America, more than 2 million Virginians volunteered last year and contributed over 330 million hours of volunteer service to our Commonwealth. That is an economic impact of nearly $6 billion annually, a huge contribution to the success of our Commonwealth. As Commissioner Storen mentioned, Many volunteer projects and efforts were centered on the desire of our citizens to respond to the new challenges of this pandemic. We have the pleasure of celebrating several honorees who focused on the needs within their communities and throughout the entire Commonwealth. We also recognize honorees who identified needs of our youth and vulnerable populations and addressed them with unique solutions. As we recognize the extraordinary efforts of this year's winners, take time to reflect on the impact they made in your communities and beyond. Congratulations to the incredible individuals and groups who have been selected this year, and thank you all for committing yourselves to volunteer service in the Commonwealth. Thank you so much.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Julie Strandley, and I have the honor of serving as chair of the Governor's Advisory Board on Service and Volunteerism, a governor-appointed board that works year-round to foster volunteerism and national service. I have served on the board since 2016, holding the seat designated for volunteer. Volunteerism and service has been a core of my life for as long as I can remember. My first experience was collecting pennies for UNICEF as an elementary school student. Over the years, I have served as a school volunteer, PTA president, Girl Scout leader, Boy Scout committee member, and in the Virginia Medical Reserve Corps. As a lawyer and professional, I do a tremendous amount of pro bono work to advance access to justice. Because of my lifelong commitment to volunteerism, I'm honored to serve on the board and to have been reelected as chair for the upcoming year. Governor Northam, we thank you for your support for these awards and our efforts to strengthen volunteerism and community service in Virginia. We would also like to thank the Virginia Service Foundation for making the presentation of these awards possible. For more than 20 years through these awards, Virginia's governors have honored the ideals of volunteerism and service by recognizing individuals and groups who give of themselves freely to improve lives and communities. Oftentimes, honorees have served multiple community organizations for years, sometimes even for decades. They are truly inspiring and contribute to making their communities and our Commonwealth a better place to live and work. Now for this year's awards. Nominations are accepted in 10 categories to include senior, adult, young adult, youth, family, corporation, small business, and community, faith-based, and educational organizations. Nominations came from virtually every corner of the Commonwealth, from a diverse array of backgrounds and age groups. Now for the awards. Please welcome our Mistress of Ceremonies, Paula Otto. Paula is a journalist, public relations professional, college professor, and agency head. She was part of the leadership team that created the Virginia Lottery and served as its executive director for 10 years. In addition to her nearly 20-year career with the lottery, she was a tenured professor and an associate director at VCU's Robertson School of Media and Culture. Paula is also an active volunteer herself, serving the RVA community as a reader for Virginia Voice, a board member for the Girl Scouts of the Commonwealth, and a volunteer with Bon Secours Hospitals. Welcome, Paula.
Thank you, Chair Strandley. It is truly a pleasure to be with you for this wonderful celebration. Growing up in Arlington, I had a tremendous role model in my mother, who, while raising 4 children, also spent countless hours volunteering. My parents showed us by example that to be good citizens, we must share our time, our talents, and our treasures. Those who we are recognizing today are making big impacts in their communities, and I can't wait for you to meet these wonderful honorees. Although we aren't able to gather in person, I know our honorees will feel your support and appreciation as you send your greetings and congratulations in the chat room. Let's get underway now by looking at our outstanding community organizations. Our first award for Outstanding Community Organization is presented to Crossover Healthcare Ministry of Richmond. Crossover Healthcare Ministry has stepped up during the COVID-19 crisis to not only provide outstanding medical care, but has gone above and beyond, offering COVID testing and vaccinations for the uninsured. During the pandemic, Crossover's 2 clinics have remained open without closing for a single day. That while they've had to operate with a 15% reduction in volunteer capacity. With all of that, they've still been able to vaccinate more than 1,000 patients. Crossover relies heavily on its more than 300 active volunteers who serve as clinicians, nurses, interpreters, front office, and administrative support, and who donated more than 22,000 hours of volunteer service last year. Crossover volunteers are a compassionate community, serving their neighbors, overcoming enormous obstacles and challenges, and continuing to dedicate their time and talents to providing the care and medical services our communities deserve. For the 2021 Governor's Award for the Outstanding Community Organization, please join me in congratulating Crossover Healthcare Ministry. The Outstanding Faith-Based Volunteerism Award is presented to Mount Zion First African Baptist Church and Church of the Incarnation of Charlottesville. Since May 2020, Mount Zion First African Baptist Church and the Church of the Incarnation have offered free COVID-19 testing events powered by more than 300 volunteers. Located within highly populated areas, the majority of those tested have been members of the community's most vulnerable populations who would otherwise be unable to receive free, consistent, and timely testing. The weekly community testing events have produced more than 8,000 individual tests and offered a place where individuals and families could get financial support to pay for rent, medications, food, and PPE, as well as connect to resources such as mental health counseling or tutoring for students struggling with virtual learning. The collaboration between these two congregations shows what can be accomplished when we work together. Their selflessness and spirit of compassion not only provided an invaluable service during an unparalleled crisis, but made an indelible impact on Virginia families by ultimately saving lives. Please join me in recognizing Mount Zion First African Baptist Church and Church of the Incarnation as the recipient of the 2021 Governor's Award for Outstanding Faith-Based Volunteer Service. Congratulations. Our next award is for the Outstanding Educational Organization Volunteer Program, and it is presented to Codify. Seeing a lack of female representation in technology fields, as well as a scarcity of computer programming courses in their own school, inspired a determined group of students in Northern Virginia to jump into action. The students created Codify, an organization providing free computer programming courses to middle and high school students. In just 2 years, the organization has grown to include an incredible 600 volunteers and is offering more than 10 courses reflecting a variety of programming languages. A completely volunteer-led organization run by the students outside of their traditional school hours and during the summer, the program currently has 600 students taking courses throughout Virginia and even across the country. With passion and drive to make a difference, these remarkable students will no doubt help move the needle for diversity in technology fields well into the future. Please join me in congratulating Codify as the 2021 Governor's Award winners in the Outstanding Educational Organization category. And we know these technology folks are really going to be watching the chat, so we appreciate you sending your congratulations. The next award for the Outstanding Small Business is presented to Doswell Limited Partnership. Doswell Limited Partnership, known as DLP, is an affiliate of LS Power, an owner of the Doswell Natural Gas Power Generation Facility. The company employs 32 individuals and is capable of providing energy to meet the needs of more than 1.2 million area homes. DLP has made a commitment to supporting services that make a lasting impact, whether it is lives brightened by funding home-delivered meals or collecting toys to brighten the holiday season. One of their largest long-term commitments has been to provide volunteer assistance to the county's Day Health Program and Raft House, which are facilities for individuals with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities. They also have provided assistance to Hanover Parks and Recreation, Hanover Safe Place, and Hanover Schools with their STEM and music programs, the Hanover Sheriff's Office, Toys for Tots, and the Special Olympics, just to name a few. What an energetic group! Doswell Limited Partnership exemplifies strong community values and a sustained commitment to supporting the community. It is evident that serving others is a core value and should be highlighted as a positive example for other small businesses. As a Hanover County resident myself, it gives me great pleasure in asking you to join me in congratulating Doswell Limited Partnership as the 2021 Governor's Award winners in the Outstanding Small Business category. Our next award for Outstanding Corporate Volunteerism is presented to Capital One Coders. Capital One Coders inspires students from all walks of life to consider computer science as an attainable and exciting career path. The program helps middle school students cultivate a greater interest in computer science during a critical period in their development. In 2020, nearly 1,400 volunteers spent more than 24,000 hours with nearly 5,000 students. More than half of those volunteers were in Virginia alone, spending more than 10,000 hours mentoring and teaching students. Volunteers expose students to a world of technology career options, along with teaching them basic coding concepts, how to build mobile apps and websites, and about different coding languages. Coders is also actively focused on increasing diversity in computer science and boasts more than 75% of participants being underrepresented minorities in tech, and more than half of their participants are girls. In response to the pandemic, Coders quickly mobilized and provided laptops and internet access to more than 2,000 families and kept their student outreach centers open virtually when schools closed. Capital One Coders is an innovative program effecting change in a real way by showing students the possibilities that lie ahead, by exploring computer science and inspiring students to take a stronger interest in STEM fields. Virginia students see a future that is brighter and full of possibilities. For the 2021 Governor's Award for the Outstanding Corporation of the Year, please join me in congratulating Capital One Coders. And now it's time to congratulate our individual category winners. Our first Individual Achievement Award is for the Outstanding Senior Volunteer. This award is presented to Betty Robinette of Wytheville. When the local homeless shelter closed its doors, Betty volunteered countless hours, bringing together faith and civic leaders to serve warm meals to individuals experiencing homelessness. A longtime volunteer in the community, she expanded the effort to help create a sustainable and innovative organization, the Open Door Cafe. Today, the successful Donate What You Can restaurant serves food-insecure individuals in downtown Wytheville. A regular volunteer at the cafe as well, Betty has served 6 hours a week since her retirement. Today, the cafe averages 91 meals per day, with 85% of those meals going to food-insecure individuals. Thanks to Betty, the Open Door Cafe is not just a refuge providing meals to hungry individuals and families. It is also a place designed to strengthen the community, where folks of diverse backgrounds share a meal and get to know each other better. As a local pastor and regular Friday dishwasher said, there's a lot more than food going on at the Open Door Cafe. Betty is the absolute lifeblood of the community, whose passion for helping others is contagious, inspiring others to find ways to make a real difference. Please join me in congratulating Betty Robinette as the 2021 Governor's Award recipient as the Outstanding Senior Volunteer. Thank you, Betty. Our next award is for Outstanding Adult Volunteer, which is presented to Michelle Hairston. When two Hampton Roads neighborhoods lost their remaining grocery store, the largely minority population of nearly 18,000 citizens faced dire food scarcity challenges. Michelle Hairston served as a driving force that led to the free food distribution of 25,000 plus pounds of food over a 2-weekend period. In 2020, Michelle and a volunteer army of 400 distributed more than 766,000 pounds of food, which provided enough food for 1.6 million meals. That is simply amazing. By building partnerships and alliances for food distribution planning and sustainability, and creating a Norfolk food ecosystem, she put long-term solutions in place for which the effects will be felt for years to come. Michelle is a champion fighting for the underserved and intentionally marginalized. She is a uniter, a believer in the power of love and fellowship, who is tireless in effort, far-sighted in vision, and willing to engage and meet community organizers where they are. Please join me in recognizing Michelle Hairston as the 2021 Governor's Award winner for Outstanding Adult Volunteer. I know all of our winners very much appreciate the congratulations that you're providing in the chat. Our next award honors volunteers ages 18 to 30. The award this year for Outstanding Young Adult Volunteer is Lucy Cummins. Originally assigned the role of a patient navigator to assist with Spanish interpretation and translation services with the Health Brigade in Richmond, Lucy Cummins pivoted during the COVID-19 crisis to address and overcome a number of challenges presented by the pandemic. Lucy quickly got to work helping to design a safe and efficient testing system and then implement the program by accumulating life-saving PPE and managing the physical setup and takedown of each event. Most importantly, Lucy ensured that volunteers were safely and efficiently prepared to work with the flood of individuals who came from throughout the community for services. Lucy also provided much-needed medical interpreter services following the sudden loss of the clinic's previous interpretation service, and was not only able to give comfort and reassurance to patients, but took charge of developing a strong interpretation plan for future needs. Despite the challenges of the pandemic, Lucy continued to be a volunteer leader with quiet determination, a collaborative approach, and an unwavering commitment to the underserved Latinx community. She has served countless hours helping to care for those who are sick, vulnerable, and stigmatized, always treating every single patient with dignity and compassion. Please join me in giving a round of applause for Lucy Cummins as the 2021 Governor's Award winner for Outstanding Young Adult Volunteer. We are pleased to present the Outstanding Family Volunteer Service Award to George and Kim Melnick Jr. of Virginia Beach. For low-income students in Hampton Roads, having a desk for virtual classes and homework during COVID was a major issue for many families. George and Kim Melnick, owners of Premier Millwork, jumped at the chance to help address the problem. Premier Millwork began producing collapsible desks for students in need, and the Desk for Success program was born. After some local media coverage, requests for desks skyrocketed, and George and Kim recruited fellow members of the Virginia Beach School Board and many others to volunteer on Saturdays to help sand and wrap desks. More than 2,000 children have been assisted, and the impact of the Desk for Success program can truly be seen in the eyes of the children receiving their desks. The Melnicks, who volunteer in a variety of ways in the community, have shown what can be accomplished with hard work and ingenuity. When others see an unsurmountable task, George and Kim simply get started and get it done. Please join me in congratulating George and Kim Melnick Jr. as the recipients of the 2021 Governor's Award for Outstanding Family Volunteer Service. Congratulations to the Melnick family. Keep those congratulations coming in the chat room. And now we turn to our final award for the Outstanding Youth Volunteer Award. This is presented to T.J. Kim of McLean. Teen flight student T.J. Kim says his flight training became one of the only activities he could still enjoy when his school and lacrosse season were shut down due to COVID-19. As a way to help serve his community during this challenging time, he decided to combine his passion for flight with helping others and created Operation SOS, Supplies Over the Skies. TJ transported PPE to critical access rural and community hospitals during a time when everyone was focusing donations on the big city hospitals. Operation SOS now distributes supplies to critical access and other rural and community hospitals throughout Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and West Virginia. TJ coordinates every element of mission planning, including sourcing the PPE, performing hospital outreach to gauge needs, conducting strategic flight planning, and flying the aircraft under dual instruction. To date, TJ has completed 22 missions and has sourced and delivered nearly 85,000 PPEs and ventilator supplies to 21 locations. One message that he has continually reinforced in public is telling young people that you are never too young to be thinking about helping others in times of need. TJ says, all you need to do to make a difference is to think of others first, and the impact you will have will follow. Please join me in congratulating one more time TJ Kim as the 2021 Governor's Award recipient for Outstanding Youth Volunteer. What truly amazing work all of our honorees are doing across the Commonwealth. It has been my honor to help recognize you. Now, let's give a final round of applause to all of our award winners and to all of you in the audience who also volunteer for the greater good of others. Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much, Paula. What fantastic examples of volunteer impact. As we wrap up the 2021 Virginia Governor's Volunteerism Awards, it's my great honor to congratulate all of our group, family, and individual winners on behalf of the Virginia Service Foundation and the Governor's Advisory Board. Thank you all again so much for your service and serving as beacons for the thousands of volunteers throughout the Commonwealth. I also want to take a moment to recognize the Virginia Service Foundation's gold level sponsors, Dominion Energy and the Leonsis Foundation, as well as our silver level sponsor, BDO. Their support enables our ability to continue to promote and celebrate volunteerism across Virginia. Please join me in thanking them yourselves in the chat. Lastly, I'd like to thank you for joining us today to celebrate all of our Virginia Governor's Volunteerism Award winners and continuing to build stronger communities through volunteering and service.